Hi, I'm Andrea from Fensall. If you're watching this video, it's because you've had the question, what type of fence works for me? And that is a huge question. If you walk around neighborhoods, if you've had a look at our website or any fence company website, there are so many different kinds of fences that it can be a little bit overwhelming to decide what fence should I get. So this video is meant to give you some ideas, some different ways of thinking about it so that it'll help you determine the best fence for your needs and for the reason that you're buying the fence. So first thing to ask yourself is, depends on why you're buying the fence. So why are you getting a fence in your backyard? Is it because you're having a pool installed, or you just bought a house that has a pool that the backyard needs to be enclosed? Is it because you just bought a new puppy and you need to keep the puppy safe? Is it because you have kids and you like them playing in the backyard and knowing that they're safe? Is it because you have really bad neighbors, terrible neighbors, and you want some serious privacy and some division between the two of you? Depends on why you're buying the fence will affect the type of fence that you should buy. So if it's a fence to be a fence, is what we call it, which means it's just you just got a dog and you need to let it out every morning to pee and you don't really spend that much time in your backyard, so who cares? Then yeah, you could look for cheaper alternatives. So things like pressure-treated lumber fences are less costly than cedar, so that's an option. Or a chain link fence. Chain link is much cheaper than iron. Just depends. You could go for a cheaper alternative for sure. But if it's because you've just had a pool installed, you probably want to buy a privacy fence like PVC or wood, and a nice quality fence, because if you've just had a pool installed, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time in your backyard to enjoy these things, meaning you're going to want a nicer fence around. You don't want something cheaper or less costly, because that's why you've just bought this pool, is to spend time in your backyard. You want something to look great. If it's because you're not getting along with your neighbor, which we hear stories all the time, so you're not alone, just so you know, then you probably want a tall fence, which brings me into my next point. So the question, what type of fence works for me? You should also think about why you're needing the fence. Think about how much time you spend in your backyard, and think about the height. So if you're not getting along with your neighbors, I would recommend a tall. So in the city of Ottawa, the maximum bylaw for height is 7 feet is the max. But a tall privacy fence is what I would recommend to keep things separate from your neighbor and keep things enclosed in your backyard. And the other thing too is, when you're trying to decide what type of fence for you, it's really a matter of personal preference. And it's very surprising to me still. I've worked for Fensall for a really long time, but it's still surprising to me how passionate people actually are when it comes down to their fence opinions. Like, you don't even realize you have an opinion on this, but you probably do. Some people love the look of PVC. They think it looks so clean and so professional. It's maintenance-free, lifetime warranty. It's perfect. Other people find it looks like plastic, and it looks fake to them. It makes their backyard feel less like rustic and homey, and they think it looks so fake, they don't like it. Or there's people who really like wood and think that wood looks so like just a classic fence in their backyard, looks so good. And other people are like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to stain that every single year, and I see a little, knot here, and a little, oh, this is a little shaving here, and those people aren't meant for wood, the same as those other people aren't meant for PVC if they find that it's too plasticky. So think about what actually stands out to you as a good-looking fence. The next time you're going for a walk through your own neighborhood, have a look at the different fences around and think, like, do I like the look of plastic, or do I like how sort of the imperfection of wood? Like, what is my personal preference? You'll be surprised, I think, that you have more of an opinion on it than you realize. The last thing I would say to consider when you're trying to decide what fence works for you is cost. Mainly, though, is, are you spending this completely on your own? Is it just going to be your fence, or are you potentially splitting the cost with a neighbor? Because if you're splitting the cost with a neighbor, meaning that the fence is installed on the property line, so you each own half of it, then you could go with a more expensive option, because you're sharing the cost. Whereas if you're paying for this on your own, maybe you're going to have to look into something less costly, which would change the styles that would apply to you. But in general, there are tons of different things to explore when you're asking yourself what type of fence works for me. Good place to start, I would say, is scroll around our website, have a look at all the different pictures. There's tons of different pictures in different backyards that can hopefully help you imagine it in your own backyard. And secondly, just go for a walk around your neighborhood, creep a bit on your neighbors, have a look at what they have and see like, do I like that? Do I not like that? And then go from there. And then contact us, contact a salesperson, and we can get you some pricing for whatever style is sort of jumping out or that you're curious about, or offer you some pricing cost differences. So can you give me a quote for wood versus PVC? We're happy to do that to show you the difference between the two of them. And lastly, because I always have to mention it, is warranty. So if you're wanting to be in this house for a really long time and you want something maintenance free and guaranteed, of course, go with PVC because it's warranted for life. But if you're only there for a couple of years in that house and you don't want to invest too much in the backyard, then this changes things too. The warranty is less applicable to you. So if you have any questions, visit our website, fencall.com, or give us a call. And I hope this was helpful.